Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Waharuka Kwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Most High God. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, the one whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, Yeshua, Jehovah, etc. Ruka Kwadash is the Holy Spirit that gives us the understanding of this truth, which is the 100% truth. My double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect spread around the four corners of the earth, pushing His gospel in all sincerity in these last days. Shalom also to the few Akwats who are sincerely seeking this truth. It's the brother Yaraya Yashar Allah from the GMS Italy camp. And, I was just going through an article, doing some researches today. And, I got to a point where I discovered some things so I just thought I should share some of what I discovered. And hey, really, if Yahweh Shai doesn't return to redeem us from this place, man, we are all done with, man, really. Because we don't have any idea, really. Those of us that were in this truth, we know that this wicked is really wicked because it does the bidding of Satan. He is of Satan and he does the bidding of Satan, which are the so-called white men in power today. We know they are so wicked, but our mind cannot really contain how wicked these people are. We really need Yahweh Shai to redeem us from this place. If not, we are all doomed, man, because we have to do with people that are really, there are no words to describe these people, the ruling class, man. They are devils, man, but the people don't know, majority of the people don't know. Only a few know how wicked these people are. Now let's quickly get the book of Matthew 24:22. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 22, which quotes, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." If these days are not shortened, there will be no one left, man. These people that are ruling, they have nothing but death. They don't have any plan for anyone. Their plan is just death, man. Death, And the more we go, the longer we go, their secrets get exposed, And what they try to do is to try to hasten, their agenda. Which the agenda is that of, a huge reset, reducing the population of the world to only a few, I think 500 million, if I'm not mistaken. That's a number that they can easily control, But the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not going to permit them, because just right at the moment in which they're about to fill their belly, destruction will come upon them. Man, we don't have any idea of how wicked these people are, So anyway, I'm going to start off. I was going into some researches, and I already heard about the Pizzagate, that issue that came up, some while ago. But the powers that be, they've been there who they are, been in this unjust, kingdom that we are. There is no justice in this place because, these wicked devils, they've infiltrated all parts of the society. There is no part left that they haven't infiltrated. They've also infiltrated your mind and conditioned you to think in a certain way, These people have power everywhere because the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has given them the go-ahead. you know, and they swept that case under the rug just all like that. And there are lots of findings about these things, man. You'd be surprised, man. I saw some images and I was just, shocked to the core of my spirit, really. Like, man, the wickedness of these people is unthinkable, man. If the Most High should open our eyes and start showing us some things, man, most of us would not be able to sleep, man. You wouldn't be able to sleep. You wouldn't be able you wouldn't be sane. You would no longer be okay, man. If you get to see the wickedness of the powers that be, really. These people have, this satanic ritual, child molest, eating, child killing and sacrifice, They have all these things set up, man. Your children, my children, all this, they're just, they're nothing but, they're just there for sacrifice, There's people worship Baal. They worship Molech, that bloodthirsty god, That's what they worship, man. The Pope, your governors, the people with the powers that be, the banking families, starting from the top ones, the Rothschild, the Oppenheimers, the Bow Wows, the Gettys, the Aldo Bandini. All these people are all devils, man. They are actually tied, they are actually bound with the satanic rituals they need to do to keep them in power. And which we're going to see some stuffs, So first of all, I was just trying to get some image, which I'm going to use for this lesson. Which this is an image from the old times where they would offer children as sacrifices to the demon god Moloch, on which I did a lesson, some months ago, probably a month ago, showing you the abominations of Molech, and bringing out some proofs about what's it called, the Bohemian Grove, and now I went a little deeper, but these are things that we can't share, because Esau has the power to change the narrative, and to censor you that you're bringing out the truth. So we can't do certain things, we can't bring out certain informations because the channel is going to be shut down. So anyway, let's read a little on this Wikipedia saying the title is Satanic Panic. Okay. So it says ritual abuse, redirect here for abuse. Okay, let's start from here. It says the satanic panic is a moral panic consisting of over 12,000 of substantial cases of satanic ritual abuse, then abbreviated SRA, sometimes known as ritual abuse, ritualistic abuse, organized abuse, or sadistic ritual abuses. So you can go read more of this for yourself, But I just wanted to point out a few things. Now it says the allegations, which afterwards, there have been lots of allegations. If you read from here, from the 1980s, in which all this goes way deeper, way back. It says the allegations, which afterwards arose throughout much of the United States, involved reports of physical and sexual abuse of people in the context of occult or satanic rituals. In its most extreme form, allegations involve a conspiracy of a global satanic cult that includes the wealthy and powerful world elite, if you may say, in which children are abducted or bred for human sacrifice, pornography, and prostitution. Now, some simps are going to hear this and be like, hey, the usual conspiracy theory stuff on all that, Now, you should understand that the internet that we're actually using, It's just a part of it's just a little part of the internet. It's just the surface. Then if you go deeper into the internet, you have what you call the is it the deep net. Then you have the dark web, you know. And there are certain people who has the understanding on how, to go through all that. I wouldn't advise anyone to go there, because there are lots of things. If you don't really know how to use those things, you shouldn't just go there, you know. And in the past few years, there've been lots of information's been leaked out, about these powers that be that are actually ruling. They have this huge child traffic chain, global, man. It's global. This has to do with even the Vatican, the Pope, all the top men of all countries in the world, they all partake of this, and they breed children. They steal children from all different parts of the world, in which Haiti, the so-called Levites, the tribe of Levi, Haiti, most of them they have always fallen, victims to this child sacrifice thing, They go there, they create all these foundations, and they say they want to help the poor and all these things. What they do is they adopt all these children, take them to, some strange islands, like the Epstein Island, and they do all sorts of things that your mind cannot contain. For real, man, your mind cannot contain what these people do. And you should go do some researches also on adrenochrome. That's how they torture these children. It has to do with torturing, sexual abuse and all kinds of, I don't know what kind of humans are these people, man. They get the blood, that's because, when you frighten a child, and they say the brain releases a substance called adrenochrome. It mixes with the blood, and it's like an elixir, That's what, these so-called rulers of this kingdom, your so-called presidents, they are all part of this agenda. All the rulers, That's why now, in what's going on, they are all a part of it, And this Vanessa issue that's going on, they all play a part. And now this is the new trend. A country is going to start up with something, then another country points at that country and be like, hey, look at what they're doing, we should do the same thing, Then another country follows the trend, And that's how very soon the little liberty that we still have right now is just all going to be taken off, Then I'll probably do a lesson on some few articles that I kept aside. Now, concentrating on this, reading this, if you look at the image, you can see these are your so-called priests, that's a child right there, offering blood sacrifice, Just check out these crazy things, man. These people have been doing this for a whole long time, man. Now, if you check what's reading here, the black mass, that's why any so-called Hebrew, Jake, who the real Hebrew Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and the Latinos, if you're still attending any of these churches, man, you're in for a rude awakening. This is the Black Mass. It says, a Black Mass is a ceremony typically celebrated by various satanic groups. It has allegedly existed for centuries in different forms and is directly based on a Catholic Mass. Okay. Now you can keep reading, So this the so-called Catholic Mass that you do, it's a satanic ritual, man. Now check all this out, man. That's the priest right there, They have the female, they do rituals with the blood of the menstruation. That's the baby. They offer baby sacrifices. Now let's see what's here. Khan. Now let's read from here. It says, the 4th century AD heresiologist Epiphanius of Salamis, for instance, claims that a libertine Gnostic sect known as the Barbarites engaged in a version of the Eucharist in which they would smear their hands with the menstrual blood and semen and consume them as the blood and body of Christ respectively. He also alleged that whenever one of the women in their church was experiencing a period, they would take her menstrual blood and everyone in the church would eat it as part of a sacred ritual. In which, man, these people are some different level humans, man. The people, just check this out, man. This is supposed to be in a church, you know. Man, these people are on a different level, man. If Yahweh Shai doesn't come back to redeem us from this place, we are all through, man. We are all done. We are all done. Now, one would read this and, you know, things just all started here, but it all started way back, man. It all started way back, you know. Now, in order to just, you know, to summarize the whole stuff, there is this site that I found that, you know, summarizes everything perfectly the way I would want it, you know. So anyway, in order for you to understand where this all started, you know, it all started with the sons of Esau, you know, who come in the spirit of Cain, you know. Cain having made a deal with devil, you know, with Satan himself, you know, refusing the commandments of the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai, you know, refusing to offer what's holy, you know, but willing to do what's unholy. And what's the scripture right there? You know, the first book of John, you know, it tells you that, you know, the transgression of the law is sin, man. So if you transgress the law, you're definitely sinning. So what these people do, in which their seed has been passed on from generation to generation, you know, Esau, from Esau to his sons, you know, Esau had, I believe, four sons: Eliphaz, Oman, Timan, Kenaz, if I'm not mistaken, you know. I really don't want to go deep into this, because if you want to get more of this, I did a video not too long, you know, entitled The Untold Origin of the Caucasians, so-called Caucasians, you know. You should go watch that video, and it goes deep into the history, you know. I'm just summarizing things up, you know, for time's sake. So, now here it says, about 1200 AD, 1200 AD, you can also say, it says, the Russians led a group of nations surrounding Khazaria and invaded it. Khazaria, mind you, is a civilization that only a little of it is spoken of, you know. And these are actually the people, the Edomites, you know. That's a nation that they formed, you know. The so-called sons of Esau, the wicked. You know, now if you go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4, it tells you they are the border of wickedness. They are the devils. They are the wicked, you know. And the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai has reserved destruction for them, you know. They can't do good, you know. They're created to be the wicked, you know. It says, the Russians led a group of nations surrounding Khazaria, in which the Russians are also a family of the Khazarians, you know, but they are not directly linked in the sense of like you have Jacob had 12 sons, you know. You have Judah, Levi, Benjamin, and all the rest of the tribes, you know. They are all brothers, but they come from, each one has a patriarch, you know. So it's the same thing right here, because the Russians are also Edomites, you know, but they have of a different son, But these Khazars, we know that they are of the lineage of Amalek. Okay, so if you, in order to understand more, you should just go back to the lesson that I did, the untold history, the untold origin of the Caucasians, and there you find out that there are some letters found called the Shekta letters, that gives you also the genealogy of these people, and they are linked to Amalek, who is a son of Eliphaz, who is a son of Esau, and the Russians are also of another stock, or different son of Esau, but they are all Edomites, you know. But these Khazarians, their wickedness exceeds the rest of the other Edomites, you know, and invaded it. So the Russians were really fed up of these Khazarians, they still being of the same stock, they still being of, of the lineage of the wicked, but these people, their wickedness exceeded the rest, and it says, in order to stop the Khazarian crime against their people, which included the kidnapping of their young children and infants for their blood sacrifice ceremonies to Baal. So the Khazarians, they are known for blood sacrifice ceremonies that they do to Baal, They are known for kidnapping children, and that's exactly what's still going on today,
Bastards.
Everyone is subject to, that the spirit of a prophet is subject to a prophet. It's the same thing for the wicked. The spirit of a wicked man is subject to a wicked man, If you're once wicked, when you come back again, you're always going to come back as a wicked, and that's what's going on right here. They have this huge chain of child traffic, and what they use them for is for their blood sacrifices, And now let's see what says, It says, the Khazarian king and his inner court of criminals and murderers came to be known as the Khazarian Mafia by neighboring countries, It says the Khazarian leader had a well-developed spy network through which they obtained prior warnings and escaped from Khazaria to European nations to the west, taking their vast fortune with them in gold and silver. So, he says they had a developed spy network, just like the CIA, just like the FBI of today, They are still the same people, They are still the same people. They will do all this thing, Now, and it says they lay low and regrouped while assuming new identities. They are known for switching identities. In secret, they continued their satanic child blood and sacrifice rituals and trusted Baal to give them the whole world and all its riches, as they claimed he had promised them, as long as they kept bleeding out and sacrificing children and infants for him. So this is always something they've always done. They've had that pact with Satan, because Satan has deceived them, telling them he was going to give them the world. Just like he came to Yahushai and tried to deceive Yahushai, telling Yahushai after he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, if you bow to me, I'll give you all these kingdoms, So they have a pact with the spiritual Satan, But what does Satan require? He requires blood sacrifice. And not just only blood sacrifice, it requires all kinds of wicked things, Orgies, molestation, eating of feces, and all these things. They are all parts of the sacrifice that Satan requires. That's why they keep doing this, Now, if you go check out, I don't want to get this video clip, Hillary Clinton, I'm not going to say that much, These people, man, damn, there's some videos going all around deep web, man. If you see those videos, you're not going to be normal anymore, really. These people, they take babies, they molest them, they frighten them, they eat their flesh, they cook them in ovens and do all sorts of things that you cannot imagine. Yet these people are in power this day. These are the people making your laws. Now, it's said, if the head is sick, how can the body be sane, man? I'm just going to skip a little. That was just now, well, I'm going to drop this link, in the comment section if I remember. Now, let me read from here. It says, no, let me keep reading. It says, the Khazarian king and his court mafia plotted eternal revenge against the Russians and the surrounding nations that invaded Khazaria and drove them from power. In which, the last fight, the major, what's the word, the major characters in this last Third World War that's about to come, you have the Russians and the Americans, remember they are brothers, man. They are both Edomites, but the Russians actually believe that if they can bring down the Americans, they're going to be in power next, because it's a spirit that is put on them, They want to be on power, But then, to their widest surprise, the kingdom is going to be handed to the saints, who are the Israelites, who are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and the Latinos. This is justice, man. And it says, the Khazarian mafias invades England after being expelled for hundreds of years. It says, to accomplish their invasion, they hired Oliver Cromwell to murder King Charles I and make England safe for banking again. This began the English Civil War, which raged for nearly a decade, resulting in regicides of the royal family and hundreds of the genuine English nobility. And this is how the Edomites started getting in power and, slaughtering the real, what do you call it? The real people that were in power, in the Dark Ages, who are the so-called Negroes, the Moors. These were Hebrew Israelites, They ruled for a period of, circa 1,000 years, And the Edomites started infiltrating in all parts of their societies, in which I also did a lesson. That's the letters of Constantinople of, I believe, 1459. You should go check that video out too, telling you how they had all this planned out, man. These people that are ruling today, they're not just in power because they just got into power. They've been there for centuries, and they had a perfect plan that they've been planning. They work in secrecy, Now it says, this is how the city of London was set up as the banking capital of Europe and launched the beginning of the British Empire, in which today we know that England, Great Britain, is the financial capital of the cabal, the so-called devils that are running this world. Rome is the spiritual capital, okay? And America is the political capital. Now I'm going to skip to this point. So he says, the Khazarian mafia used their vast fortune to enter into a new system of banking based on secret Babylonian black magic money magic. Magic money magic that they claim to have learned from the evil spirit of Baal in return for their many child sacrifices to him. And the elder apostle Gabar did a lesson a few days ago speaking about the enchantments on the money, on the dollar bill, It's all filled with all different kinds of enchantments, That's to pay homage to the one who actually kept them in that position, as they believe that it was Baal, Satan, that kept them there. But they don't know. What they don't know is Satan is just a messenger, is an errand runner. He runs errand for the Most High Yahweh and his son Yahushai. Satan runs errand for them. But they believe Satan to be the God that created everything, Now, it says this Babylonian money magic involved the substitution of paper credit certificates for gold and silver deposits, which allowed travelers to travel with their money in a form that offered easy replacements should they lose the certificates or have them stolen, And now you can also go into the history of the Federal Reserve, And before the Federal Reserve, you can go also into the history of they made the British royals, the French royals, how they got everyone broke with their forgery, At the fight, is it the war between, what do you call it? The Napoleonic War. What's it called? The French Revolution, And the elder apostle Gabal always speaks about the Federal Reserve, how it was all done in secrecy. Now, this is the point I want to share. It says, interesting how the very problem that was started by the Khazarians also had a solution provided for them. And this is always what they've been doing. It's part of what they master, They say problem and solution. They create the problems and give you the solutions, so you can keep depending on them. And it says, eventually the Khazarian king and his small surrounding court infiltrated Germany with a group that chose the name the Bauers, the Bauers of Germany. And I actually worked for a 5-star hotel here in Italy, with one of the most precious hotels that you have on the island of Venice, and it's called Bauer, And the elder apostle Gabal also speaks a lot about these people, the Bauer. I believe the first time I heard about this, and it came to my mind that, I worked for a place like this. I believe it was when he nominated such. It says, eventually the Khazarian king and his small surrounding court infiltrated Germany with a group that chose the name the Bauers of Germany to represent them and carry on their Baal-powered system of evil that they still carry on till date, It says the Bauers of the red shield, which represented their sacred blood-blazed child sacrifice. Let me read it again. It says the Bauers of the red shield, which represented their sacred blood-based child sacrifices, changed their name to Rothschild, aka Child of the Rock, Satan. Ooh. So you see, this is how they became the Rothschild, And the Rothschild go by different names, They what they do is, they sponsor families up, and they change the names of their offsprings, just like Adolf Hitler. If you go back to his roots, he was actually a son of the Rothschild, But they changed his name and everything. And there is also a very famous dude, in the midst of this Pizzagate thing, the guy that actually owns the place. He goes by the name Elefantes, If you go deep into his research, you see that he's a Rothschild, These are the main names, the devils, that are in the game, and they are known for switching their names. It's also said that the Rockefellers are actually Rothschild, They just created that name, Rockefeller, So, man, if Yahushua doesn't come back, to redeem us from this place, we are all doomed, man. We are all doomed, Because these people that are running this thing, they are the real devils the Bible speak of, They are bloodthirsty, They got all children, some pedophilia rings and stuffs like that, and they're drinking their blood and eating them up, and using them for all different kinds of sacrifices. And this is including every dumb person in the society, every dumb bigs of the society, The Vatican is included in this shit. The the great politicians, the top ones, and this is it, they've carried on this thing from generation to generation, and now this is the end of their rule, you know, and this is part of exposing who these people are, because now they're being exposed, man. All the secrets they've been hiding for the centuries, they're all being exposed, man. There are videos where you see this man, doing some things that damn, man. All praises to the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for giving us this truth, man, for opening our eyes, man. Because this truth, man, should be everything you have, man, because this is everything we have, man. Without this truth, we're all gone. We're doomed, man. So, hey, I just wanted to share this lesson. I hope it was edifying. I would like to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahadukak Wadash. My double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, which is the 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.